another very beautiful day today, and if you're new to my channel, I'm Brianna, and on my channel I talk a lot about music therapy, and I am almost a board certified music therapist. If you want to check out my other playlists that I have, I'll link them down below. I think I have the music therapy playlist as well as music therapy student diaries playlist and my most recent music therapy intern diaries. And yeah, you can check them out, but just for this video, it is gonna be my internship application process. I got this comment a while back, and now that I'm done with my internship, I just wanted to share with y'all kind of like the process. But just a little background information if you haven't watched any of my other videos. I studied music therapy at University of Pacific for the past 3 years, from August 2018 all the way until May 2021. And then in order to be a music therapist or take the board certification test, you have to get 1,200 clinical hours and complete an internship or / complete an internship. And I did mine at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital in San Francisco, and it was from last July, so July 2021 all the way until January last month of 2022. And so yeah, I just finished, and I just want to share with y'all the process of how I got in, I guess. So I'm going to talk about 5 steps of applying to an internship, and the first one is finding your preferred setting and population. So in undergrad, I had 4 semesters of practicum, so I think it was a total of 200 hours, which is really little compared to the 1,200 hours or the straight 6 months that I did my internship, but they were like really good practice hours, as well as finding out kind of what populations I enjoyed working with. So the first one I did was medically fragile children in a special education setting. The second one was older adults in a memory care unit at a long-term living care center. And the third one, because of COVID, we just had a simulation with our supervisor, so it was adult oncology in a hospital setting. And then my last one was at the UOP speech clinic, and I co-treated with the speech language or SLP students. And yeah, those were the 4. I also made a video about that too, talking about each one if you want to know more about in detail. And so from those, I kind of thought about like where I wanted to focus on and which population I wanted to work most with. And I think back in, I forgot what year it was, 2015 maybe, I was a junior going to senior in high school. I went to volunteer at my uncle, who's an ophthalmologist in New York, and I just kind of shadowed and volunteered at the hospital, and I actually really enjoyed this setting. So I think in the back of my head, I always knew I wanted to work in the hospital setting. And even though I didn't have a lot of experience with music therapy there, I knew a lot about it. Medical music therapy is very specific, and it's I think if I had one word to describe it, it's very fast paced, and it's also acute because the patients are always coming in and out. I don't know why my camera stopped recording there, but continuing on, yeah, so the hospital setting is very different. And I think when I applied, it was October 2020, so I was a senior. And it was the fall semester, and I was applying for the internship cycle of July, the following July. And so I actually didn't even do my speech field work yet. So I was when I applied, it was during my I think it was the hospital simulation field work, but I guess it worked out. And yeah, so I applied in October 2020, and then I found out really quickly. I had my interview end of October, and then I found out in November, and then I will insert a picture of me happily crying that Luke took of me. But yeah, hospital was my dream setting, and I loved it. But more on that later. So after you have found your preferred setting and population, number 2 is to do your research. And what I mean by that is to find out what specifically that internship site needs for the application. That could include letters of rec and essays, as well as just audition songs. And so every internship site has different requirements, and I think it's important to just figure out what that is. And I'll talk a little more about how much time I put into the application So for number 3, it is to practice your audition songs. And like I mentioned, all internship sites might have different requirements, but specifically for UCSF, they had me choose one children's song, one adolescent song, and then one song of my choosing. And for all 3, I think I played guitar. And I just sent them like YouTube links. And if you're a music major, just kind of like practice them like how you would for like a jury. And like, you know, every semester you have juries, so you just practice it a bunch. And since it was quarantine and COVID, I also filmed like a bunch of like guitar videos because I was a guitar major, and so kind of treated it like that. And the songs that I chose, I think for my children's song, it was You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, and then When I'm Gone, the Cup song from Pitch Perfect for my adolescent song, and then number 3, I think for the song of my choice, I chose Betty by Taylor Swift, of course. But yeah, those were my songs, and yeah, just practice them a bunch and you'll get it. So number 4, it is to write your essay and submit your application. And so for like the time frame, I submitted it like October-ish, and so I think I gave myself like, I want to say like 4 weeks to write it. And I think there was a little more than just the essay part of it. I think they asked, let me check, let me look at my app. Oh, they asked identify your strengths as an applicant and how you see those contributing to your success as an intern. And I guess some examples. I think I put passionate, empathetic, and attentive / detail oriented. And so those were just like really short paragraph answered. And the real bulk of my application was my, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-page essay. And so I'll kind of like briefly talk about it just because it's like personal experience. But I think one more thing in between. Oh, there's one extra question, like why do you want to complete your internship at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, San Francisco? And I kind of just talked about how like I knew I really wanted to work in a hospital setting, and so yeah, like that's the reason why. And like I want to know more about it, I guess, and learn more as a music therapy intern there. And then identify 4 to 5 personal / professional goals, which is a very big topic, I guess, because like, you know, obviously we're always trying to be better therapists, better people. And so let's see my goals. It was to network with other music therapists and healthcare professionals, which I did a lot. I definitely met that because I did a lot of co-treats with child life specialists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, yeah, like so many. But it was really awesome, like an interdisciplinary team. Yes. And number 2, it was to improve my clinical therapeutic skills, and yes, I definitely did that. Like working full-time like was so different than just like the 3 hours a week that we had. Like yes, of course it was very, very helpful, like field work, just to like kind of like ease us in because we were full-time students too, right? But this way we were like full-time music therapists or interns. But yeah, so I definitely improved clinically. And then number 3 was build strong interpersonal skills with patients, medical staff, and supervisors. Yes, definitely did that too. Number 4, solidify my music therapy repertoire list. And yes, I did that. Like I sang so many songs, and we also did environmental music as an intern. So we like just played rep a lot. And so that was a really good time for me to just practice my songs. And I worked primarily with I worked primarily in the hematology, oncology, and blood and marrow transplant unit. So a lot of my children, actually my patient age range was very like drastic. Like it was like under 1 all the way until like 24. And so yeah, it was very wide. So I got to work on a lot of different like rep songs. So if I had to choose the children's song, the adolescent song, and song of preferred choice, I might choose completely different ones now because I just know so much more. And the last one, it was to find time for self-care and process my experiences. And I actually did that. Like one of our homework assignments, we had one main supervisor, and we had to turn in 1 journal entry every week. And I actually found that to be very, very helpful. And I am still journaling now, just, you know, about life and, you know, my transition period right now of like almost becoming a music therapist. And so, yeah, I found some way to process my experiences. Yeah, working in the hospital setting was like very like, it was very, very fun, but it was also very, very like hard. So I like high highs and like low lows, I feel, and like it was so important for me to like find time for myself and like not get like burnt out and like tired. But yeah, those were my goals, personal and professional. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my essay. And so the prompt was, tell us about your relationship to music, your journey to music, your philosophy on music therapy, and your future professional goals. And I fit that on 6 pages, and I actually was pretty proud of this. I had some very good friends and my boyfriend to like read over it, just to, you know, proofread it. But yeah, I think that was also very helpful. But I think my relationship to music, I think I talked about how I started piano at the age of 5. And then I think my mom wanted me to play for like church and like worship music, which I did, but I didn't play piano because I started playing guitar at age 12. And then I played all throughout high school and in college, like in the college fellowships. And so guitar was my first true love. Piano was cool, but I love guitar so much more. And so I think I was saying that, oh, also that before Breezing Beyond, there's actually a previous channel that I had with my best friend Ivy, and we started it in 8th grade, and we made music videos for like the past 10 years. And we still do covers, but then it's on my channel now, just because we don't really use that channel anymore. But yeah, so that's kind of like my relationship with music. I've always had like a really strong bond and very passionate about music, and yeah, that's how it started. The next part was a journey to music therapy. And yeah, like I said, it started out when my second year at Cal State Fullerton, and I was studying psychology, or my major was psychology, and I really loved it, but wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. And music therapy is very like psych-based, I believe, too. And like I also minored in psychology because I just love the field so much. And so it's really cool because you get to combine love for music as well as love for psychology, and just interpersonal and clinical and musical skills into one job. And my favorite things. And so it's so cool that I got to find out about music therapy. Why music therapy? A lot of you will ask. And if you ask any music therapy student, it would be that you love music and you love helping people. And I was like, oh, that's such a cliche answer, but it is so true, because who doesn't love playing music and helping people at the same time? Like, oh my goodness, like those are perfect. But yeah, that is my journey to music therapy. So for my philosophy of music therapy, I think I talked about 2 of my fieldwork sites and experiences, and how it kind of like helped me come about my philosophy and my way of seeing music therapy. So the first one, I discovered my first philosophy while working with my first population of children clients. It became imperative that addressing the patient's needs is greater than my expectations and insecurities. And then for the second one, I discovered while working with my second population of older adult clients, I find it purposeful when my efforts bring patients joy and improve their mood during their sessions. And so I think I talked a little bit about when I was working at the special education school, how I had one patient. I think he was like my first ever like patient. It was like group setting, and I worked with my very good friend and first ever fieldwork partner, Florence. And we worked together to lead a group of around like, I want to say like 7 to 8 medically fragile children. And one of my patients, he was like an 8-year-old boy that had a traumatic brain injury. And the joy I saw in his face whenever like we let him play an instrument and like strum my guitar was like, oh my goodness, like it made me so happy. So a lot of times it's like what I realized like after my internship is that like it's not anything that I do that specifically makes me happy. It's more of like me watching my patients and how well they are improving and doing and finding joy in making music while meeting the goals that we set for them. That makes me like truly happy. And the second one, it was when I worked at the long-term living care center with older adults, and I was really sad because it got cut short because it was right when COVID happened. Like, I think it was like the March, right? February, March 2020. And I said it was a very special population because my grandma passed away in 2019 this summer, and the one I barely knew anything about music therapy, but she had a stroke, and so I remember like just playing some songs for her, and like she was able to like actually sing along even though she wasn't able to like say a lot of words. And so seeing that in like my patients like that have had strokes, and it's like, oh wow, like music really is able to like help these patients and like improve in their speech as well as singing. And so it's very special to me working with this group of older adults. And I think I enjoy both. Like, they're very drastically different, like children and older adults, but like they both are so special in different ways. But yeah, like all populations are so awesome to work with. So for my last part of the essay, I think I just talked about the future professional goals, and I think I mentioned them in the 5 personal / professional goals earlier, but they're just like, you know, improving clinical skills, and also musical skills and interpersonal skills and all of that, and I just kind of like wrapped up the essay. But that's kind of, yeah, what I wrote for my 6 pages, and I really like how it's written. Actually, I'm really proud of it. But now that I finished my internship, I feel like I would have so much more to say to add on this, because 6 months changed me, man. For the better. Like, it changed me, like it shaped me into a better musician, clinician, and music therapist overall. So for number 5, it is to ace the interview. And so I think from the time I submitted my application, from when they got back to me about the interview, it was around maybe, I don't know, I want to say like 2 to 3 weeks. And so in that time I was like nervously waiting, but when I found out, I was like, oh yes, I have a chance. And again, like I said, like this was my like dream hospital and dream setting, so I was like, oh, gotta do good for the interview. And of course I was very nervous, but yeah, I just like kind of like went over my essay and like things I wanted to say, and just kind of like calmed myself. I think I made a playlist of like songs, and it's a very on point because, you know, music really helps to, you know, just calm the nerves. But anyways, I was kind of upset that we didn't get to do in-person interviews, because I think that, you know, being in person is very different than like, you know, Zoom. But because it was pandemic time, this was October 2020, I think. Yes, October 2020. And so it was over Zoom, and I got to meet the 3 music therapists at UCSF, Matt Logan, Brianna, and Jenny Goldhammer, who are all super amazing and awesome, and loved working with them. And I was primarily assigned to Matt, and so we worked together a lot, and he was my primary supervisor. And so for the interview, I think they asked like some questions that were like just like scenario questions, like what would you do if you know, this child was like crying in a group, like, you know, stuff like that, like just like very like specific questions. And then they also, you know, just went over like kind of like, I guess like strengths and weaknesses, I believe, and just like kind of like what's in the application that I sent them, as well as a song that of my choosing. I think I chose Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, and one of my favorites. But yeah, so I sang that, and overall I think I just went in with the mindset of like, I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna be confident and a smiley and just yeah, friendly. And that's what I did. And I guess like my main tip is just to be confident but not overconfident. And I asked Matt like what made me stand out, I guess, or like as an applicant, and I think that was what he said, like confidence. And so yeah, just be yourself too as well. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I don't know, I feel like I just ranted a lot, but yes, my 5 main points, I will highlight them down below so that there can be like timestamps. But anyways, I will hopefully make more music therapy videos in the very near future, and I'm currently studying for my board certification exam, and it's just going through like all the textbooks or like just very like some like the intro textbook, as well as like the music therapy handbook, and yeah, it's a 130 question test. And yeah, they don't really test you on music because you went through school and internship, which I always thought was interesting because it's literally just like multiple choice questions, like. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I think this video is gonna be one of the last ones, or if not the last one, of the music therapy intern diaries. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Always very happy to answer. And yeah, want to help any future music therapy students. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and always, always, always live a life you can't put into words. Peace.